So when your emotions are coming with lots of story, when they're coming with big feelings, big stories, big ideas, I wanted to give you a way to easily move through them. Easily is a relative term because we know emotions can be turbulent, they can be like tsunamis, they can be quite hard to interact with. So anytime an emotion is coming up with a lot of mental thought and a need to vent, it's looking for empathy, not sympathy. It's looking for empathy and it's looking for connection. This is something that's unique to humans, that your soul is looking for. That is something that is wholesome and healing. We're not meant to do all of this alone, even though we are on a spiritual path and even though these things pop up for us. Emotions are highly meant to be engaged with other people as well, to be seen, but we don't always have that luxury as adults, and it can be a missing piece from childhood. So anytime you find yourself feeling a really strong emotion and that's coming with the story, you want to meet it in a neutral way. So you'll be playing two things here. You'll be playing the emotional state, but you'll also be playing the parenting role. You'll be reparenting yourself through this, or a caregiver role to your own self. And when we choose these emotions, it doesn't just happen here, it happens through all time, right? It happens through all of the versions of us, and it helps us change things, and it helps rewrite our histories just by these simple little things. So it can be a situation where you're very upset. Say you got an email from somebody that was really upsetting and it hurt your feelings, or you don't understand why somebody is being such a jerk. Is really common. Or just where you feel yourself just having a really big emotion, is allowing the story to come out with the emotion, not detailing it to the point where you're trying to convince somebody of something, but just naturally what it wants to say. Like, I'm really upset. I don't know why they would send an email like that. How come they have to be so mean? They're really overreacting here. And your role as a caregiver, right, as caregiving to yourself, is to just listen and acknowledge that. Listen and acknowledge. A lot of the times these things just want somebody or someone to listen and acknowledge. It's very helpful to do this in front of a mirror. It's very helpful to do this on paper. You can also do it here with me. But that looks like, yeah, they're being a total, right? They're really being a jerk. It's hard when people are mean, right? And it's like, right, I know, they're being so unreasonable. You'll find yourself agreeing, right? And it's looking for empathy. Like, yeah, it's really hard when people are treated that way. You don't understand why somebody would be that way, right? And so it's understanding that emotion, right? And then typically here, right, once there's empathy and that little bit of relief, you can kind of give it this thing like, I bet you would like it if they apologized, or I bet you would like it if you didn't even have to deal with this. Give it something in fantasy, like give it a solution, give it something that helps it move, right? Like, oh yeah, I really wish that they would just see how kind I am. I really wish that they just wouldn't treat me this way anymore. Or I really wish those people at work would do this. Or I really give it something in fantasy. Give it something that's not there and validate it. Without making a really, really big story, right? Without making the big story. just being there for it. This is what it means to be there for your own emotions and your own thoughts and your own stories. And when this is done, it's moved through, and you can say, well, okay, well, maybe they weren't being that bad. You can tell it's moving because you're coming into some kind of solution, you're coming into some kind of empowerment or a new perspective. The emotion starts to lighten itself, it starts to move, and you could probably go back to playing, right? If you were a little kid. Little kids are really good at this. They'll feel something really intensely, they'll feel it, they'll see it, and then they'll move on. And then they'll move on. That's kind of what it's like. That's kind of what you want this to be. But if that story is still there, that can be over processing it. It can be leaning too much into the emotion, right? You start to get a little bit out of balance. Or if there's too much anger, right? Then you're still looking for out of balance. But it's emotions are trying to move through us, and when we meet them, they have a way of dissolving. Sometimes we can do this by ourselves, sometimes we need help with it. When they're particularly sticky, we can call a friend. This is where we can go see practitioners, this is where we can ask for guidance, this is where we can do all kinds of things. But it's meeting it there and empathizing with your own emotion is a really, really big deal. And now in the next video, right, before I go into that, we all just want to be acknowledged. We all want to be acknowledged. The little kid inside of you wants to be acknowledged. All of it does. And to learn to sit with these things brings us back to our center, because once we allow it to move through us, we can come back to who we truly are. And that's where the really good stuff is. Like, when somebody has a really great comeback, it's because they're in their center. They know who they are. They know who they are. And we're just getting back to that. So instead of numbing things out or forgetting them, we move through this. And the next one, we're going to feel who you are.